Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. I don't know, with your host, myself, Jackie, and
Sana.
Hello, everyone. I think by the time this airs, August is probably done.
No,
It's will almost
I guess
be done.
it will be almost done.
Yeah, it'll be done. So, summer's over.
Summer's still, it's just getting hot. So actually, summer's just beginning.
That's what August is. August is just like reminds you that, summer's still here and it's hot and the sun exists. But anyway, whatever. I'm fine. I'm fine with summer being over. But anyway, welcome everyone to another episode. We're excited. Our topic today is pretty good. I'm excited for our topic today. I think
we already got in our own debate about it, which is fun. We do this a lot.
We do this a lot. This is usually what happens. It's the topics spawn from our convos.
Yeah.
But before we begin, weekend recap. What'd you get up to?
Recap.
Sana?
So the weekends that we tell you happened 2 weeks ago, just FYI.
Yeah, just so everyone recognizes. Yeah.
One of the gals that trains at my studio, we went out on Friday night. A night that ended up in late night in and out.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yes.
Loved that. Saturday, rotted on my couch. Much needed. I had a busy week. I did teach classes in the morning, then I rotted. And then Sunday, I went on a hike, brunch, and then I got back, and I think that's the night I watched what we're going to talk about.
We watched a certain movie and we're going to talk about it. Let's see, myself, I'm trying to remember. That's right. My niece has been in town.
She's a mommy. I'm a mamacita.
Yeah, mamacita. I'm a mommy. I was basically a mom last week, and she's here. She's 14, so it's not like I'm taking care of like baby. Yeah, but
she's staying with Jackie.
She's staying with me, and now she's at the grandparents. She bounces around between the family, and we went to Disneyland on Saturday. We did Disneyland and California Adventure.
Jackie went to Disneyland like 3 times this month.
4 times.
I was like, that is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. For someone who doesn't have a pass, like that's a lot.
Yeah.
But I've never had a bad time at Disney. I will say that. I've never had a bad time. It is always so magical. But anyway, so we went together, but it was nice because typically when I go with my friends and their little boys. And so it's still so much fun, but we don't necessarily get to do a ton of the adult, like big kid rides because they're still a little bit too little. But so that's what Leon and I did. We got on like everything. So it was really fun. We had a really good time. Of course, I died. So then Sunday went to church and just passed out on the couch, like could not move. I was just like, my feet are done, type of thing. When you get to close to being 40, that's what happens, and you got to walk around Disneyland.
I need a cane next time.
Basically,
I need to get the electric.
Yeah, I need the electric scooter at this point, and then a quicker way to get on the rides. Yeah. Anyway, all right, let's get into our topic today. I'm excited for this one.
Jackie insisted I watch this movie.
Yes. So our topic today is love versus money. And this isn't like a new thing, but I don't know if we've ever like discussed it in depth to the way that we're going to. I don't think so. So this all started because there was the movie The Materialist that came out. And if you are not familiar with it or you've been wanting to watch it and you haven't, stop the podcast right now because there's going to be a ton of spoiler alerts.
Don't watch it.
Don't listen to Sana.
It made me super angry. I texted Jackie. I was like, you ruined my night. This movie made me so upset.
It's so good.
My favorite comment that I've seen online is that they've played this out to be a rom-com, but it's actually a horror film. And I completely agree. It was a horror film. In my perspective, it was a horror film.
It was a horror film. So yes, if you've been wanting to watch this and you haven't, or if you don't want anything to be spoiled for you, cut the podcast right now, go watch it, and then come back to us. But a little synopsis of the movie. It stars Dakota Fanning, who works as Dakota Johnson. Johnson. Too many Dakotas in Hollywood, you guys. Dakota Johnson, who is a Manhattan matchmaker. And she believes that lasting relationships are built on money and class, like that they're equal, that the partners are equal in that. And at a wedding she planned, of like two people that she matched together, she meets Pedro Pascal, Daddy Pedro Pascal. I find him so attractive.
Not for me.
It's fine. It's fine. His name is Harry, and he's a wealthy bachelor who just seems like her perfect match on paper. But while she's at the wedding, she ends up reconnecting with her ex, John, who's played by Chris Evans, who's a struggling actor. He's basically like a waiter. He's working like catering staff. And she's torn between security with Harry, Pedro Pascal, versus passion, which is Chris Evans.
Do we know how old she is in the movie?
I don't know. I think she's maybe supposed to be in her 30s. It feels like that. Yes.
I'm going to start this out by saying he is living with 3 guys.
Yeah.
Her
ex,
yes.
John, who's played by Chris Evans. He has roommates, like 3 different roommates, and they're just like very immature. And I think at one point in the movie, he steps on like a used condom, like from his gross roommate. It's kind of a mess.
It looks like a frat house.
Yes, kind of. It looks like a frat house. So basically, to ruin the movie, she ends up choosing John, her ex, who's the struggling actor.
Which if this was real life, we would see them get divorced. But
the way that the movie plays it out is it's basically like she chose her true love, which was John. Which sparked a really interesting debate. And I told Sana to watch this because Sana and I have always kind of talked about this, love versus money, how important is it, blah, blah, blah. And I told her, I was like, I really want you to watch this. I really, really, really want your thoughts. I liked the movie in terms of, I think it brings up very important topics.
I think it was poorly done.
Yeah, I think it could have been done better. I agree. Because there's some...
I'm not even a critic, and I'm like, this was...
I mean, it's not, 2 thumbs up type of situation. Don't hold your breath for, an Academy Award. But I just think it brings up interesting topics.
I think it definitely brings up like that scene where she's interviewing a bunch of guys and the current dating scene. Some of the requirements the guys are having. One that was like, what did he say? I wanted a girl in her 20s because if they, what did he say?
I forget. I should have looked up the quotes because he said something like really, really stupid. And I'm like, I swear to God, I've seen that on a dating profile.
Yeah. Like basically saying he wants a younger girl because a 30-year-old's going to like want kids and expire soon.
Yes. Basically he says like, they're like the 30-year-olds are looking for commitment. They want like responsibility. It's like, he's basically calling out like, yes, everything that a mature person, woman or man would want. And he's just like, no. The 20-year-olds are stupid enough to accept the bullshit.
Yes, and then a lot of them were based upon looks. And things that...
And money.
And didn't matter.
Yes.
I don't think the guys really mentioned money.
The guys didn't, but the girls did.
The guys were all about looks.
Yes, the guys were all about looks and saying that they wanted somebody fit. They would always use the term fit, which it's like, that's just a pseudonym for you want someone hot. Yeah. And then the women would always talk about height, money, like money profession, basically. Yeah. But men would talk about age and beauty, which I was like, that's accurate.
That's the equivalent to each other. So whenever a guy says a girl's a gold digger, it's like, well, you're only with so-and-so because they're pretty. Like, it's the same thing.
It makes me think of, in the movie, I think it's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes with Marilyn Monroe. And she ends up being engaged to a guy who comes from wealth. And it's really funny because the dad is basically like, I'm not convinced you love my son. And he's like, you only want to marry him for his money. And she goes, no, I want to marry him for your money. Which I think is great.
Yeah.
But she says a really good quote. And she says, don't you know that a man being rich is like a girl being pretty? You wouldn't marry a girl just because she's pretty, but my goodness, doesn't it help? And I'm like, snaps, Marilyn, like 100%.
That's it.
And that's exactly it. You're not marrying just for looks, and women aren't marrying just for money, but doesn't it help? Like, doesn't it help? At the end of the day, it helps. So anyway, we're getting a little ahead of ourselves, but so that's. Yeah. She ends up marrying for quote unquote true love. That's the way that the movie kind of portrays it. What I don't like, kind of a little bit of a critique of the movie, is her and Chris Evans, broke guy, they were together for like 5 years or something.
I don't remember.
It was like long time.
It was a long time, and I don't know how long they were broken up for.
Right. I don't know how long they were broken up for, but then she's with Pedro Pascal, rich guy, for like 3 months.
It did, but see, Jackie looked it up to see that it was 3 months. The way it was played out on screen looked like they went on 4 dates.
Yeah.
And then she was like, I'm not in love with you. And I'm like, but you went on 4 dates.
Yeah, and the reason that what kind of jolts her into this like realization that she is not in love with rich guy, is they're about to go on a trip to Iceland and he's going to propose to her. She finds a ring in his luggage and she's just like, hold on. And then they kind of have like this like very honest conversation. And what's interesting in the movie is he reveals to her that he had leg lengthening surgery, which is real. You can look it up.
Yep.
And he was originally 5'6", and now he's like 6 foot or 6'1".
He's 6 foot, yeah.
And so, he kind of touches on that a little bit of like, would you have even considered me if I was 5'6"? But she's honest too, and she says, she points to her nose and her boobs, and she's like, I made investments too, Mm-hmm. But basically, it kind of just, there's some other things that happen in the movie where she just kind of realizes that broke guy is like her one true love. But I think it brings up interesting points. And one of them about kind of in the movie, her philosophy is money equals success and love. Like if you come from the same like economic situation and class and kind of upbringing, that equals love. So I want to talk about, do we think financial compatibility, is that being smart or is it being shallow?
I don't even have to think about it. It's smart.
Elaborate.
So I don't think it has to be, like you have to be wanting the same things.
Yes.
Right? And I think the big issue in the movie is that she literally in the beginning of the movie talks about how I'm not going to be happy with a life of, what did she say?
Not going to a nice restaurant. Yeah, halal carts.
Halal carts. And not going to fancy restaurants because it was their anniversary dinner and he didn't want to pay for parking and there was traffic and they were going to miss their reservation.
And if they missed it, they were going to get their credit card charged because
Yeah.
it was like a nice restaurant. It was fine dining.
And she gets out of the car and she storms out and says, I'm not happy with a life of halal cart and whatever nonsense she says. So you already are telling me that, right? And they break up. And then the craziest part about this is he proposes to her at the end with halal cart food.
Yeah.
And not only does he propose to her with, but he proposed to her with a flower that he found on the ground that makes it into a ring. So Mans couldn't even like get cubic zirconia, like nothing, and proposes to her. And like, I think that my issue with the movie is totally broke man propaganda.
Yeah.
Like it is telling women to settle because how do you sit there? How do you have a scene with her saying, I'm not going to be happy with a life like this? And then she says, well, you know what? This life isn't so bad. Like,
yeah. Which we should also mention that in the movie, there's a situation that happens with one of her clients that makes her think about quitting her job. And it was kind of, I don't think that it needed to be. It didn't really need to be in it. I'm not too sure exactly what it added. So if any of you see it, we would love to maybe know your thoughts on maybe why that was added. But anyway, but then towards the end of the movie, when he does propose to her, she gets a phone call that the director of that specific branch of the matchmaking service is leaving, retiring, and so they're considering, like, she's like the only one that they're considering to take that director's place. So obviously it would be a significant amount or significant increase in her salary. So it's like she is getting her financial security but through herself and not through a man, which I felt like, which was kind of...
No, because she was not going to take the job.
No, she said, I'll think about it.
Yeah, but...
Yeah, she had this thing where she...
So she was almost going to lose the security. What are you talking about?
No,
so before the phone call, she was ready to quit.
Yes, exactly. And then she's being told, no, you will become this director. And so then she's like, okay, like I'll think about it. The way I interpret it is that she was going to probably take it.
I interpret that she wasn't going to take it.
Interesting. But getting back to our discussion point, I I agree with you. I think the number one thing is you have to be you have to be aligned on what you want for like goals for your family and for your future.
Totally. And if she was okay with having the halal cart, that would have been fine. But she made a huge thing about she's not happy with a life like this.
That's what's crazy is now, question for you though, do you feel like maybe in between the time when she said that to like now spanning whatever many years, do you think there was like a growth in her? No. Or do you think it's more settling?
It's more settling because if there was a growth within her, then it would have happened regardless of going back to him or not. Like she wouldn't have been so seeking that type of male.
Interesting.
So she was still seeking that type of male until she reconnected with him.
Yeah. Because she says in the movie, I'm either going to die alone or marry for money.
Yeah. So no, there was no growth. There was no growth on either end. In fact, like he was terrible. So I think, and we'll get into him later, but I think that you have to want the same thing. So if you're both okay with a mediocre life, then it'll work.
Right.
But if one person wants more, I mean, I really think it all comes down to ambition. You have to have the same level of ambition.
Right. I agree with that. I think, again, if you're okay, and we're not saying this in a disparaging way, like if you're okay with mediocrity, it's not that way. But it's, if you're okay where you're like, no, we're not those types of people that like, we want to take these like, you know, extravagant trips to Europe or even just go to Europe once a year or every other year, or the type of traveling we like to do is we like to camp, and that doesn't really cost a ton of money, and we're not really looking to go to, you know, crazy resorts or really major international travel that costs a lot. Like we're just not like quote unquote bougie people or whatever. I think that if that's what you like and those are your tastes, I think it would work. But that's what's so interesting, back to your point, is that she was saying that's not going to work. Yeah. She says in the movie, I know that you can't afford a nice restaurant, and what does she say? Like, I don't want to be with you because I know that you can't afford a nice restaurant, and she hates herself for that.
Yes.
But I think that that's a very real statement though. And I think that that's a very accurate statement. And because I think women kind of do sometimes maybe hate themselves for that. But
I don't know. I think in this scenario particularly, like I do think this movie was women don't follow it. Don't watch it. Because it was a big like push for settling. Because I think forget like how much a man is making. It really does circle down to ambition. This man has not done anything in the X amount of years that they have broken up. He has not done anything to level up. He has not done anything to do better in his career, to move out of his living situation. There is just such a strong lack of ambition.
Yeah.
That is 100% settling. Like you're with a man that is okay with not being better.
I think that's the key, is he was a struggling actor and things have not progressed. So I think at a certain point, do you sit there and you just say, I got to call it? You know, like, I just don't think this is going to provide the life that I want. I'm not going to achieve the success or fame that I want. Yeah. I got to call it. And I can continue to do this as a hobby, but in terms of like actually providing a life for myself, this isn't what I want.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that the movie is, in terms of like broke boy propaganda. I think it's more like misalignment propaganda. Like they're saying that like, oh no, these two people 100% can have a lasting relationship. And it's like, but I don't think so. No. I think there's, and that's the thing, is they both grew up poor. Like she talks about how she grew up poor and so did he. And so, but that's her whole thing, is she doesn't want that for her life now. And I feel like that's what the movie is doing, is telling you can be misaligned and it'll still work out.
No, you can settle and be,
because love is enough.
Yeah, and I am a firm believer on love is not enough. Love is not enough. Love is not going to get you through when you can't pay your rent. Love is not going to get you through when you can't afford any of this shit that you want, and when you're misaligned. Like, love is not going to be enough when you want to take that vacation, but homie is sitting on his couch not doing anything.
Yeah.
Like, that love can only take you so far. When you have diapers to pay for, when you have all these things, like, I don't think people realize the stress that impacts on a relationship.
Yeah.
So no, love is not enough. You have to be aligned in that area. Like, there's no...
Yeah. I think I don't think it's realistic to think that love is enough. 100% you need love, I think, needs to be your foundation. There needs to be a selflessness and you put each other first, and there needs to be a choice every single day, all that good stuff. But I think to your point, to sit there and think that that's the only thing that you really need, and money is not a real thing. And, also in this day and age when it takes two incomes to be able to live a life, that you want.
I think what it comes down to, and I keep circling back to this, is ambition. Like, you may not be at the finish line yet or where financially you want to be.
Yeah.
But how is this man operating?
Yeah.
Like, if this man is putting in the work, hustling and trying to make something out of himself, totally different story. Like, ambition is what you need. But if this man is okay with doing the bare minimum, and I think at the end where he was like, oh, I'm going to be willing to do this and this to be with you, where was that without her?
Yeah.
There was zero growth on his end. And all of a sudden, he's saying that he's going to do all these things so that she's with him.
Yeah.
Again, if this was real life, within a few months, he would have been back to his normal ways. No, 100%, it's true. Because that stuff comes within. You can't do that for somebody else.
Right.
That's in you or it's not in you.
Right. I can't want it for you more than you want it for yourself.
And he's saying it so that she'll be with him.
That's an interesting take. Yeah, that he's like, do you feel like it's going to be like a little bit of bamboozling her?
Yes,
just
because I'm a firm believer if he was going to do it, he was going to do it.
He was going to do it all a long time ago.
Yeah.
Do you feel though that maybe he needed like that jolt? Like, you know how sometimes men, like once they're in a situation, like it kind of jolts them to be better. Like if you bring a baby into...
That's so different, bringing a baby in. But in your 30s, you need a woman to act right.
Yeah.
Fight like career-wise. No, that's embarrassing. Like, that's embarrassing. Like, there's no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That is the most unattractive thing.
Lack of ambition in a man is a very unattractive trait, I will say. For me, I find that very unattractive.
It's so, I wish you all could read me and Jackie's text when we were debating about this. And she was like, oh, what if this happened to you? And I was like, but it wouldn't.
Because I did. I asked her, because
she was playing devil's advocate.
I'm playing devil's advocate because a lot of it, Son and I do agree. And I'm a very firm believer in love, but also at the same time, because money can go away. Money can...
I say the ambition has to be there.
Right. Money. And that's what I think is interesting. A lot of people talk about money, but money you can lose it all.
Totally.
I mean, you saw what happened to people in 2008. I mean, hell, we haven't experienced something like the Great Depression that happened back in the 30s, but that's a very real possibility. So I think that's the thing. It's being aligned in values. But what I did ask Sana is I said, so are you saying that money is the qualifier for a man to be in your life? She was like, kind of.
Yeah. And I mean it, I flat out said yes. My answer was, I was like, yes. I was like, and I mean it in different ways where it's not the dollar amount per se, but it is the drive and the ambition. Yeah. Like if you don't have that first step, there's no way we're even getting to second step. Like I do look at that first.
Yes.
That is the first thing. I'm not even afraid to say it. Like that is the first thing I look at. What is your career? What is your trajectory? What are you trying to do with your life? Because if we're misaligned there, I don't want to talk more. Like that is number one for me. You're going to say it's not?
No, I think it is. And I like that you said that it didn't even have to do with the dollar amount. It has to do with ambition and drive. Because I remember when we had Samir on the pod, and he said, so would you date a guy that worked at a gas station? And I said, well, it depends. Are you working at a gas station because you're also going to law school and you're putting yourself through law school and you're having to, that's the only thing because you can work at night, and you're struggling right now, but you have this ambition and this end drive to do better and to do more with your life. And you know that this is not where you're landing. It's just where you are right now. Or is this your final destination? And you're like, yeah, I'm good with this. If it's the first, sure, I'll date you, but if it's the latter, no way. Because also I don't have those traits.
Exactly.
I think that's a thing that sometimes men miss maybe. and they start going after women and saying like, oh, you're a gold digger.
Only broke guys say that. Sorry.
Right. Also, a gold digger goes after yachts. It doesn't go after a mediocre dinner. A pasta dinner, at Joey. Like, that's not what a gold digger does.
I also, like, if you're a gold digger, like 100, 200, that's not going to impress you. Like, I think guys think, like, they got the
gold digger is like, you're going after, like, major money. Yes. And again, you're going after a yacht. You're going after, like,
you're right about that mediocre dinner.
I'm not going after, like, just, like, a decent whatever restaurant. Like, that's, listen, that's not a gold digger.
Again, it's broke guys that don't want to work harder. So it's easy to label that way. Just as a woman, you have to look a certain way. I think as a man, you have to be a certain way. Like, it's the same thing, and everyone talks shit about it, but guys are no less.
Well, and that brings up another question or point of discussion is, why do you think women are judged for choosing financial stability while men aren't really judged for valuing looks?
Society has fallen into broke man propaganda. Just like this movie. They're pushing their agenda.
We have to stand up, our ladies, and say no.
All the broke men are coming out with me right now. Jesus.
But yeah, I think that's an interesting question is, why are we judged for wanting financial stability, but men really aren't judged for valuing or wanting looks?
No, that's a great
in a woman. And I think that you not 100, but societal standards. I don't know. I was thinking about this one and I was like trying to find like a specific answer, and I really am just kind of like not sure. I think it really is maybe because I don't know, maybe society thinks that a man can sometimes not control maybe money or something, like, no, but whereas like a woman,
it's the opposite. The woman cannot control it. Like, you can look better, but you can't control financially. Yes, you can work hard, study hard. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have to become an entrepreneur, but you can become a doctor, a lawyer, an engineer. Like, those are careers that are guaranteed an X amount of salary.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no, I think there's more control on that end.
Yeah.
Versus the looks.
I think because I also wonder if maybe men or just people in general don't understand kind of what happens like after you get married, and especially if you want family. Like, typically, like, what's going to happen? Well, who's going to have the baby? Like, women are going to have the baby. They're 100% going to be out of commission. Sometimes they're the ones that end up not working afterwards because it's too much to pay for daycare. They're better off financially. It makes better sense for the woman to stay home. I think also women think about, I wonder if maybe women think more about long-term. Like, something I feel like people don't think about is when you think about money, like, it's not even just money. It's not even about like vacations or things like that. It's being able to put my kids into sports, to be able to pay those stupid registration fees and to pay for a coach, maybe to also be able to give my child opportunities and not have to deny them things because mommy and daddy can't afford it. I'm not saying they need to be spoiled and given everything.
Totally.
But I would think it kind of sucks as a parent when your kid is like, oh, can I learn to do this? Or can I have piano lessons? And you're like, we can't afford that, and also just it influences where you live, which influences school district, which influences the education that your children receive, right? So it impacts, I think, generationally. And so also I think just there's always a taboo surrounding money.
Yeah. And I think that's why when I say it circles mostly around ambition. Because I'm with a guy that, like you said, money can come and go. But if I'm with someone that I know no matter what,
he's going to make it happen. Yeah.
That's what counts, right?
Yeah.
That, like, God forbid that man is Ubering and doing whatever to make it happen until he figures it out. Whatever, right? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
That a guy that is not okay with just sitting around and being lazy.
Yeah.
And I think this generation is filled with that.
Yeah.
Like, And
not understanding.
Yes, not understanding, not having the drive, not having the hustle.
Yeah.
And then just blaming women for wanting or being wanting a sugar daddy or doing all this nonsense.
Well, and that brings up another point. Like, is money in relationships about comfort, survival, or status? And I think it depends on the woman.
It depends.
I think it depends on the woman. For me, it's about survival and a little bit of comfort. I don't care about the status. I don't care if I'm, living in, South County in Cota de Caza, or I have a house in Malibu, or I'm in, Laguna. I don't care about the status. I don't care about, how many cars I have and if I get to go to a country club. It's not about that. It's about survival. Yeah. I have seen what happens when you don't have money. I think us just living in Southern California, like, we understand how expensive life is. Just basics. I mean, we came out of a situation where eggs were going upwards of $8, everyone. Like, that was just eggs. Like, I'm not asking for much, you know?
Totally.
I'm not buying something frivolous. I'm buying something that's a grocery staple of a household. So I think and then for me also, it's a little bit of comfort. I want to be able to not have to worry about, wait, how much is the extra cheese on pizza? Like, I kind of grew up with that a little bit, not like a ton. I grew up in Anaheim Hills, so it's not like I wasn't living on the streets, but there were times where it's like, we're going to get the Costco pizza because that's $10 versus going to a different place because that's going to be probably double. That's going to be about $20, and, again, I was fine, but I like that if I don't have to worry about that. Yes. And there is a level of comfort, or that we grew up camping a lot because it was inexpensive. I don't know if the same could be said for today because everything's expensive. Yeah. But it was an inexpensive way to have a vacation, and I loved it. I cherish those memories, and I'm thankful for it. But I think it would also be nice if I could have a choice.
Totally.
Do you also think that the movie, or maybe rom-coms in general, they suggest that, like, the broke guy is always the true love?
Yes. And I think what was interesting about this movie is I almost wish they made Pedro an asshole. Like, it made no sense to me that they made him rich, good-looking,
he was so nice. Kind. He was
and
generous,
romantic, and sending flowers. And I'm like, really? You don't like this?
Yeah. Okay, but question though. Do you think that whole point of it was that for Dakota and for Pedro Pascal, they were just checking boxes? That there wasn't love, that it was just checking boxes?
But what was he checking on her end? Like, what was she checking for him?
Well, she was beautiful. She was intelligent. She was kind. She was witty. She, had a life of her own. She was independent. She carried herself well. She was cultured.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're a guy at that status, that's not hard to find.
But that's what she says in the movie. There's a million other girls. Why are you looking at me? Yeah. We didn't grow up the same way.
That also touches on her insecurities. So also kind of makes sense why because she also didn't think she was deserving.
That's another reason I didn't like that. I really did not like how they made her so, like, why would you choose me? Like, oh my God. Like, it's just so, like, I get maybe the first initial is like,
no, but it's also weird. Like, you're looking for a guy at this status.
Yeah.
You find a guy at this status.
And then you're like,
why did you choose?
Yeah.
It's very, again, the movie's just weird. Like, it makes no sense to me. If you're saying you're looking for the status, whatever, then I would assume that you think you're deserving of that. But it's very interesting when it comes to it. She's like, but I'm not worthy.
I'm so happy you picked me, but also why?
I almost it's another thing that I almost like she settles because she thinks she's not worthy for more.
That could be a theory. I didn't think about that. But I know that I didn't really love how they had her do that so many times and say so many times, like, why I just don't understand why you would pick me. I don't understand why you picked me. When it's like, because what you bring to the table is not which I guess is maybe back to our point. What she's bringing to the table and what he's kind of trying to tell her is, I'm not dating you for your upbringing or your, like, socioeconomic level. I'm dating you because you are kind and you are a great conversationalist and you're intelligent and witty and humorous and you're beautiful and, you know, I'm sexually attracted to you, physically attracted to you. Like there's a lot of other things, which I don't know, maybe that's the point because that's what she does in her job. She's a matchmaker and she's just checking boxes for people.
I understand for her on her end, but on his end, I'm like, when you're that rich, the pool is endless.
Yeah.
You could pick any woman you want.
Right. But I also wonder if maybe because he could also tell that like she wasn't dating him necessarily for money, like whereas maybe a lot of other women would.
Well, which is funny because she made a lot of jokes about it.
But that's the whole thing. She did.
And you know, every joke has some truth.
Has some truth to it. It's very real.
That's all. The movie's a mess. I mean, I think it brings up interesting points.
Yes.
But poorly done. 100% broke man propaganda.
Okay, so question, do we feel that the film reflects a real life female dilemma? No. Or is it a rom-com fantasy?
Rom-com fantasy. I want you to find me one woman that would turn down Pedro and pick him, a guy that has nothing going on in his life, that didn't want to do better until she said she would be with him, which I think is fake. Still living with 3 guys in his 30s.
That's a lie.
Didn't want to pay for parking. I mean, what woman do you know that would, like, even if she didn't pick Pedro, let's just say, for example, what woman would pick that?
See, and that's a really good point, is I feel like because we as women are very emotional creatures and it's connection, it's, you know, all of that good stuff. I just don't think in real life she would pick broke guy, no matter their connection. And again, the way that the movie plays it out to be is that they just have this very strong bond, connection, love for one another.
We never saw it.
Well, I mean, there was like when she was upset about finding out about her client.
But when I'm upset, I call you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing as calling anybody. Like, you never actually see it.
Well, I agree. I don't think that they made it out to be. It was almost like because at the wedding, everyone, her and rich guy, Pedro Pascal, are sitting there talking, and he says, "Can I get you a drink?" And he goes, "Or what do you want to drink?" And she says, "A Coke and a beer." And all of a sudden, someone puts down a Coke and a beer in front of her, and she turns and she looks, and it's her ex-boyfriend, who clearly remembers that that's her thing. Which, I really hate when they do shit like that in movies. Like, you're like the manic pixie dream girl. We're like, anyway. And then second, it's like, who wouldn't remember that it's somebody has a Coke and beer as their, like, their thing? You know what I mean? But also I think they're trying to depict that as that, like, that's love. Like, he remembered, you know? When it's like, that's not.
Yeah.
Like,
why did it take him to see her or her to see him to realize, like, if you were in love with him for all these years, it took a run-in.
But don't you think that can happen? That you could be just desperately in love with somebody, but you
wouldn't reach out?
Yeah, you just know that, but you know, because it's not a right fit, that you wouldn't reach out.
But then it's suddenly a right fit. Again, you're going back to my point.
No,
then it's suddenly a right fit.
Just saying, then maybe, I don't know, then maybe I think a lot of people also believe in just like fate. And like, oh my gosh, crossing paths.
I think what was happening is that fate is, don't be with this man from your past. Look at what you have now.
Trying to show you.
Yes.
Don't go back to that.
Don't go back to that.
Go forward.
Yes, go forward.
That's really funny.
That is not what happened.
I agree. Not that they were reminding her, don't go back, but I don't think that it's realistic. I think this is 100% realistic fantasy.
Finances matter. You have to be aligned. There's no way a relationship's going to work if one party wants a certain lifestyle and another person wants a different lifestyle. Yeah. Like, there's just no way. And that's why I say love is not enough, because those things are going to become resentment. It's going to cause fights. It's going to be a whole situation. Yeah. Like, you have to be aligned in what you both want. Right. And you can't, if she would have, or if anybody would have said they're okay with this life from the beginning, would be a whole different story. But to sit there and say you're not okay and would never be happy, and then suddenly you are, that is settling. There's no world where suddenly you decided that halal carts on your anniversary was enough for you.
Yeah. But do you think she thinks that it is enough because what is truly sustaining is the love that they share.
Yeah, so it'll be sustaining for a year and then they're going to break up. Like, that is what would happen in real life. And don't at me. Like, that's what would happen.
Yeah.
It's going to get old.
Yeah.
Like, right now, because she didn't have this fireworks connection with the other guy, he's looking like the star right now.
Yeah.
But that didn't mean she had to be with him. She could have been with none of them.
That's the thing. I think that brings up another good point is that it doesn't have to be all or nothing in either way. Like, I think that's the goal, right? Is to try to find someone that you connect with on the values and what we want, what we both want economically. Yeah. And these are the financial goals that we have. Because I think that's another real life topic is retirement. What do you want your life to look like in retirement? Do you want to have, money and to be able to live a free life and go travel and kind of just do whatever you want and you guys are good? You don't have to worry about anything. You want to leave a legacy and some wealth for your children. You want to be able to, put them through college and, at least a good college. Maybe not, I don't know, maybe you can't necessarily do Princeton for all the kids that you have, but like you want to be able to send them to a good college and stuff like that. And it feels like that's not looked at on this movie. And that's a very real life conversation. But if you're looking to be like, yeah, I want to work for the rest of my life. I really don't care. I'm fine living in this whatever, my kids are just going to have to figure out college on their own. If I can help you, cool. But if I can't, that's just it. And, with retirement, I really don't want to travel. Yeah. I'm happy just staying in my town. Like, then sure, money doesn't really play a role in a certain way, Do you think choosing love over money, it's romantic or is it irresponsible?
Again, it depends.
So maybe it's not settling, it's irresponsible. If that's not what you want. Do you think so? Like it's just like you're just settling?
Yes. Again, it depends. If you're okay with that, you have to be okay with it. You have to be on the same level, especially ambition-wise, everything. If you're on the same level, then fine. It'll work. But if you're not if you're misaligned, there is no way it's going to work.
So, okay. If you had to pick unshakable love, but broke, or stable money, but lukewarm love, what's your move?
Money, but
I mean, we're all not surprised.
No, and it's facts. Because again, I'm going to go back to my point: is how far can broke but unshaken love take me?
But to play devil's advocate, because I think I don't know, maybe I'm in the middle. I don't know. But what if he doesn't? What if it's lukewarm love? What is that to say that you're not? There's not necessarily going to be like cheating or he doesn't really like.
At least I'm crying in my Ferrari.
At least I'm drying my tears with $100 bills.
Yeah, I'm just kidding. But okay, but not cheating on me and can't pay rent. I mean, I might be on the street. Like, what is the win there?
But that's the whole thing. It's unshakable love.
Yeah.
You have this unshakable love for one another, but you're broke. Versus this guy who lukewarm loves you. So there's not the,
because here's the thing is, it's going back to my other point is I wouldn't want to bring a child into this world if we have no money. So then that one situation would leave me childless and I'll be unfulfilled there.
Yeah.
In a situation, I could have a family and, it would be fine. Like.
So are you saying then that you're willing to accept lukewarm love, but it comes with financial security?
I'm saying I'm not settling. Again, this is our debate. We're having conversations that I know would never happen.
Yes, it would never happen.
Either polar opposites would never happen. But if they were to happen, yes, I think it would be more wise to choose that than the unshakable love. Because I don't think it's going to be sustaining.
Yeah. It does. That's why I say I find this movie very interesting because of the questions that it proposes and kind of getting into like the philosophical and like, what role does money really play?
It plays again, I think it goes more to ambition. I'm going to say more ambition than money.
Yeah.
Because I know if a man has ambition, then we'll be fine. Right? He'll figure it out. We'll be fine.
So then ambition and lukewarm love, you'll take over unshakable love, but broke.
Yes, because I also think it's unshakable for now There is no way you're going to sit here and tell me it's going to stay unshakable.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. That, like, yeah, it's good for now, but bring in other things or
all the outside factors.
Like we can't afford this, or I don't know, somebody gets sick and we don't.
I'm going to ask you, what is the leading cause of divorce?
Money. Money and maybe infidelity. Yeah.
So I think that tells us everything.
I rest my case.
If love could conquer all,
right,
that wouldn't be the number one reason for divorce.
Well, and that's the thing, right? That's why it feels so, and maybe this is why women get shamed, because it feels kind of gross, right? Like I feel like sometimes
to me it doesn't feel gross, right? To me, because I look at it from a different perspective.
From like a very realistic
perspective. And also, I'm not asking for someone to be something I'm not. And I think that's a big thing. I'm a very ambitious person. I'm a hardworking person. And I want that in a partner.
Yeah.
If I was a lazy bum on my ass and then expecting this millionaire, then I think you could be like, bitch, come on. Like, you're not even doing anything
right
to get that or be that, except that you want that.
Yeah.
But why am I going to settle for something below?
Well, and it's funny, I think that, and I don't know if you've said this just yet, but I think for you, like, love is tied to ambition. Like, that is something that you love about somebody, is their ambition and their drive and their pursuit of a better life. Like, I know you've said, and we agree on this, like, we love a self-made man and love a man that did not come from money, that things were not handed to him, but he saw something and was like, I'm going to go after this. And I want more for myself. I want more for my children. I want more for my family. I want to be able to provide a comfortable life for, my partner, all this different stuff. That is very, very attractive. And that's like part of the love. It's not even necessarily the money, back to your point. It's like, it's because there's an ambition there and there's a drive and there's a want and a desire to do more and to be more. It's like the way that you're not settling, you would want somebody who doesn't settle in their life either.
Yes.
Exactly.
The way you said it, I wouldn't want someone who's settling in their life. It wouldn't be unattractive to me. And that's why when you were posing all those questions to me, and I was like, it would never happen. What was my analogy?
I said, so career and money is the qualifier. Personality then comes second. You're not willing to know the personality without the ticket of career/money.
And my response?
Career and money gets you in the door. Personality keeps you in the house.
That was a good one. Okay. And that's exactly how I feel.
Because I will say that is something you have come across men that have a great career, that are very financially stable and they are driven, but they've been awful and they've been terrible. And you don't sit there and still consider them. You sit there and you're like, you're really shitty. So bye. Like, I do have to say, like, if anyone's getting like, thinking that Sana is very, very shallow and materialistic,
it's exactly what I said. It gets you to the door. But it doesn't keep you in the door.
It doesn't keep you in the house. Like, personality keeps you in the house. But yeah, I mean, it's just such an interesting topic.
But this is all about me. You're not even answering your thoughts on these. Like, she's putting me on the hot seat. What are your thoughts?
And that's the hard part for me, is because I am a very deeply sensitive feeling person. And I also do know that money comes and goes, but I think I agree with you in terms of, it's not about the actual money. It is truly about the drive and the ambition. And I want someone that, it's like my mother always said, Susan has always said, money does not buy happiness, but baby, does it sure help.
Just like the looks, like
the looks. And that's the thing. It's like, I'm not marrying somebody just solely for money, but I think in this day and age, there's more of a reality to it. And that's what movies do, right? Movies kind of take you out of reality sometimes.
Yes.
Especially rom-coms. And I think it would be great if we could live in a society where things weren't so expensive and it didn't cost so much to raise kids, and just the basics, not even anything outlandish. I think I should have wrote it down, but I think in California, to live like a comfortable life, you have to be making over $200,000 a year. You have to be a household that makes over two. I think it was like $266,000. So close to $300,000. We live in a world where a shitty house is $1 million. Like, I remember growing up, and I don't know about you, but like when I thought of $1 million home growing up,
I thought it was like a mansion.
It was a mansion. Now it's, a
condo.
It's a condo, or it's a shack that's lean with bars on the window in the San Fernando Valley. I think there's just realities now.
There is reality.
So that's my thing. It's just like, I'm not going to marry solely for money.
Yes.
And that's what I've always said. I'm marrying for character. I'm marrying somebody, and I want to find somebody with character. And yes, there has to be love. Of course there has to be love.
Sure.
That has to be the foundation, but also the values have to be the foundation. But I agree. I think that this is just a very rom-com-y.
It would.
I just don't think it would happen.
It would never happen.
I just don't. I think the real ending of the movie is that she picks no one.
Yes, that would happen.
And what she does is she tries to find somebody that meets her ambition and, the financial goals that she has, and maybe the financial wants and the type of lifestyle that she provides for herself that, would be matched, if not exceeded maybe a bit. And that also there is a good, solid love.
Yes.
And
I think that's what would happen in real life too. The fact that she chose him was broke man propaganda. Like, there was nothing, minus him being a nice guy. What redeeming quality did he have? He didn't want to be better in all these years. It really bothers me too that he said he was going to suddenly do all these things to get to be with her.
Yeah.
That part really irked me, because I was like, why did you never do these things before that? Why did it take... That's why it's fake to me. It's not real. Yeah. It's not real change. He wasn't going to do those things.
Yeah.
Because again, he would have done it a long time ago.
No, I agree. I think I don't know if it's necessarily broke boy propaganda, but I think it's unrealistic expectations propaganda. I think it's misalignment propaganda. I think that it does not, as much as I think we all would love to I just want to be in love and love is enough. I just don't think at the end of the day that there's a reality that you have to face.
And I think I feel that way more than ever is because I went through a situation like that.
Again, audience, go watch the movie. I think it's interesting. It's not particularly well done.
It's a horror film.
Save it for spooky season.
I mean, the amount of women that have gone and complained about this movie online just goes to tell that I'm not the only one that thinks like this. We're not the only ones that think
there's a lot of hate surrounding this movie.
Yes,
and that is just so unrealistic. And yes, this person, because I think at the end of the day, her connection, I think a lot of women, and our audience would love to know if you've had this situation happen in your life. You have a really, really, really strong connection with a person, or you've had really strong love with a person, but at the end of the day, you both just didn't want the same things in terms of life and growth and ambition and where you wanted your future to go. And I think a lot of women have had to make that choice of, I can't settle. Or there's going to be a major misalignment, and what's going to start as maybe a slight separation is going to grow, and that chasm is going to become wider, and eventually we're going to break.
That's what I mean by like when you said the unbreakable or whatever you
Unshakable
said.
love.
Unshakable. It may be like that in the moment.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going to last like that forever unless the other party's okay with it.
Right.
That is going to become a gap.
Right. It's almost like someone's going to have to settle.
Yeah.
Do you know? Like someone's going to have to give.
So in this situation, he went up.
Right.
And she went down.
Right. Yeah. And then they met. I think final thought is, listeners, we'd love to know you and your opinion. If you were Lucy, if you were Dakota Johnson, who would you pick, Harry or John? Harry is rich guy. John is broke guy. So basically heart or bank account.
Or none.
Or none. We would love to know.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting film. I think it just sparks a good debate about things and the realities that we all face, men face in dating, women face in dating. Like, I don't think we kind of touched on this, but even men, like he got that leg lengthening surgery because he knew that he had to be 6 foot. He had all, but it's crazy. He probably had all those great characteristics and personality traits.
Well, I think they were kind of saying that the reason why he's like that is because he's a short guy.
Yeah. And then he was a short king, and then he became tall.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, you know, so there's
that's
a lot
why he's not an asshole.
That's the thing.
Because a tall guy would have been an asshole.
Yeah, a tall guy would have been an asshole.
I think that word for it. Yeah.
I think final thought is that there's a lot of ugly realities in life that feel uncomfortable to talk about, especially in dating and especially in choosing a partner. But at the end of the day, there's still realities.
There's realities, and you have to be aligned. I think the bottom line of it is you have to be aligned. You can't just decide that, like, maybe I'm okay with this, like maybe I can settle for this. No.
Yeah.
It's a yes or no.
Yeah, either it's there or it isn't. Because if that, again, that gray area starts out very small and it just grows.
Yeah, everything feels like butterflies when you're in the beginning. And then it just gets worse if you're not aligned. And that's all what I have to say. Ladies and gentlemen, be aligned. Okay?
Again, there's just realities to all this. So, well, gang, that does it for us.
Yes.
Thanks for tuning in, as always. Again, we'd love to know your thoughts. I'm sure we'll get some comments.
Me?
Sana, we'll get some comments. But yeah,
I'm saying what everyone's thinking. I just want to, I'm saying what everyone is thinking.
Ugly realities. But yeah. All right, gang. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.